Good morning, class. Take a meeting, so how is the break? How is the break? Morning. How many of us had that time to get our study materials and reflect on what we have covered? No one. Very bad. Some of you didn't even go to church. So we take sitting at the table, you didn't even done any schoolwork, but no card, and I don't buy it.
It was very weak.
So what did you always
To the church. Monday up to Sunday.
You go to church?
Yes.
Easily said than done, just because it's some of you are just doing the crowd. So last week we were talking about gender, women in development, women and development. So what did you say is the women in development? What is it all about? We just reminding each other about it. So, what did you say is women in development? What does it mean? If someone says women in development, what would you tell that person? What is women in development? What I think, you are a little up. Including women in development. Yes. Well, how is it different from women and development?
Women in development focus on theories and practices, while women in development focus on theory. Practice on. So today we want to finish about this topic. We want to look at gender and development. That's what we want to look at today. Gender and development. Now, when you hear about the word gender and development, what comes up into your mind? Maybe I think so. Gender and development. What do you think this concept is all about? Gender, or talk about women in development, women and development. This is the third concept, gender and development. This is also the name of our course. What is it all about?
I think it's including both genders in development, including both genders in development. Like men and women, including them in development. Regardless of their state.
What do you think? When you were looking at the course that you did, one of them was gender and development. What came out of your mind? What did you think this course is all about?
concept. What is it all about gender and women? Our friend has told us what she thinks. What about the rest of us?
As for me, I say gender promoting the different thing of promoting the women.
Which are these different things? So, masiku nje kuli other genders, these ones we exclude them.
No, we put them.
So, what about gender? Gender is divided. I think we talked a lot on this one when we were looking at database and concepts.
Yeah.
We have a lot of okay, fine. So anything to do? At least everyone should talk something. So just as I said currently, gender and involvement, what does it mean?
Gender involvement, it can be like it's the fair or equal treatment to both genders, in as far as promoting the well-being of all aspects of development, and just including all men, women, and other genders, in as far as all aspects of development are the same, economically, socially, and the like.
Development which can be achieved by including all genders.
Gender development these are the roles of both males and females in promoting the well-being of people in society.
If you step down to yourself, will people trust you? It begins with self, You have to speak with confidence, put in there. I think, no. Will you take me serious? I think today we should talk about gender and development. What do you think? This magazine, none of us come on. We should talk with confidence, with what you're talking about, that's what you think, Talk with confidence, be bold, and we also, by doing such, that means you're also encouraging us to listen. Because the way you present your stuff also matters. If you're presenting good music, I can also without you, I don't think this is so, all the knowledge, all the suggestions, everything that you've said is not very far from the truth. That's gender and development. So let's look at what our material has to say on that one. So gender and development is abbreviated as GAD, like garden, gender and development. While women and development is WID, women in development, women and development. So sometimes if you find, if you're reading or you come across material that has to do with gender, so most of the time if they mention women in development for the first time, WID. So just know what they're talking about, women and development. They will mention once, they will write in full one, then you can just write my abbreviation because I've already told you they're talking about that particular concept. So, gender development, first of all, let's look at the theoretical approach. So, the gender development approach focuses on socially constructed differences between men and women. It focuses on socially constructed differences between men and women. What did you say are socially constructed differences between men and women? When we are looking at the concept, what does it define? So, that means gender development mainly concentrates on gender roles. They are socially constructed. They are different from society to society. So, the socially constructed differences between men and women and the need to challenge existing gender roles and relations. So, there are two things that gender development focuses on the theoretical approach. One, it focuses on the socially constructed differences between men and women and the need to challenge the existing gender roles and relations. So, yes, it's focusing on the socially constructed roles, but it also focuses on the need to challenge them. What do you mean when you say you're challenging something? In a constructive way. Now some of us we like challenging things just to get people's attention. We are challenging. There is another form of challenging which is constructive. Not every criticism is bad. Some criticisms are for our own personal good. Even in the workplace, some criticisms are important because they improve the system that we have on ground. If you don't have any criticism, things may not improve. So there are two different ways on how we look at criticism. Positive one and the negative one. Others, they are just going down and also say, they just say criticism without even any genuine reason. While others, criticism they are painful. So sometimes when someone says he's trying to correct you, don't be too quick or don't put a hedge to dig them bad. Because no one can criticize me or or even when it comes to leadership, they say good leadership is whereby one is open or people are able to receive criticism. It just depends. Is it a positive criticism or maybe you just want attention? Or each and every time you just after criticizing. So they're saying they need to challenge existing gender roles and relations. So there's some gender government is there to criticize how authentic or how do they meet the needs of the people. So apart from focusing on the social differences between men and women, they also look at the need to challenge the existing gender roles and relations. And the creation and effects of class differences in development. So you can see there are three things. It focuses on the socially constructed differences between men and women. One, it also focuses on the need to challenge existing gender roles and relations, and the creation and effect of class differences on development. When we're talking about class differences in development, what are we talking about? The low, middle, and high class. Development is categorized. So these are low class, these are middle class. So it also looks into creation and the effect of class differences on development. So this approach was majorly influenced by the writing of academic scholars such as Oakley 1972 and Rubin 1975. So this work of gender development was influenced by these two scholars, Oakley in 1972 and Rubin in 5. Who argued the social relationship between men and women. They argued the social relationship between men and women have systematically subordinated women along with economic scholars Rudess and Martin Stein in 1981. So you could see the collaboration between the two scholars in the 1970s and the other scholar in the 1980s. That means gender involvement originated in the 1970s, whereby two scholars came up with the idea, and we found out in the 1980s, other scholars came in again to criticize or scrutinize this concept. So, the one in 1980s assessed the impact of colonialism on development and gender inequality. What is colonialism? What is colonialism?
Another country is being ruled by another country. It's under another country.
Can you give an example?
Like, here in Malawi, people were ruled by the British.
We are colonized. Is it a new word to us?
No.
So are you quiet? I was expecting almost everybody to raise up their hands. We were quiet. Yes? What about, so we see different countries were colonized by different people. How many of us were taking history? How many? I'm talking about history because I know that's why we were learning about colonialism. The scramble of Africa, that's where colonialism comes in, isn't it? I did take this from, I have just an idea. Could you agree the scramble of Africa? Whereby countries were sharing African countries who to colonize. This is what example history from my destiny. So yeah, so this scholar in the 1980s was there to assess the impact of colonialism on development and gender equality. Do you think colonialism had an impact on development and gender equality? How? According to your understanding, how do you think colonialism had an impact on development and gender inequality?
Just give an example about being in Africa. Like, let's take an example in South Africa. So some jobs were being written on white people only. So if white people couldn't do that particular thing, no one can do that particular thing. So it was undermining the black people who had the same capabilities of sharing the ideas on how that particular problem can be done, but they were being undermined just because they were regarded them as their slaves. They don't have anything to offer in as far as development is concerned.
Very good. So you talked about development. What about gender inequality? How did colonialism affect gender inequality? Or what impact did it have on gender equality? And development is, what about gender inequality?
I'll just talk on the negative, positive thing whereby the colonialism now brought in the equal treatment, because for the Africans there were no gender equality. So through the colony, these white people brought like, okay, women can also do what men can also be doing.
Interesting. So do you think colonialism has ended?
No, it's still, because, well, let's take an example. When you want to get funds, these people, they need something in return. They give you money, they're going to expect you to give did something in 15. Yeah. So we're still under colonization.
In a different world.
Like
Our friend said, when she gave an example of Maya, when Maya was under British rule, so my question is, yes, we have the president but is this colonialism, has it ended in?
no.
Theoretically, it has ended,
Yeah.
practically,
Still
still being practiced,
existing.
So some things are just theory, but practical on the ground. So even our thinking capacity, most of us is still colonized.
Yeah.
How is our thinking colonized? Can you give an example? How is our thinking capacity still colonized?
When you see those people, usually people say white person than us.
Which is very sad, eh?
Yeah.
But is it practical like that? We just have a colonized mindset, eh? Yes, we do know. Okay, fine. So that's what now is the scholar who joined the. Remember, I said the two scholars in 1970s, they're the ones who came up with the concept of colonialism. Who came up with the concept of gender involvement, whereby they were focusing on the three areas that we talked about. They focus on social and cultural differences, the need to challenge the existing gender roles, and the creation of effects of class differences in development. So they came up with the concept of gender involvement and looked at these three areas. That was in the 1970s, 1972 and 1975. But now we see in the 1980s, this other scholar comes in and he brings up the issue of colonialism on development and gender equality. So they state that colonialism imposed more than a value system upon developing nations. It introduced a system of economies designed to promote capital accumulation, which caused class differentiation. According to this idea of colonialism brought about class differentiation. Do you agree with it?
Yeah.
How was this class brought about by this colonialism? I think when you see something, I think the best example is what our friend said, like in South Africa, put the classes, they had a class which was the high class, whereby the whites were considered to be the high class and the blacks are the low class. So you could see the colonialism brought about my classes. Even the locations, I think up to date, there's some locations whereby it's very rare for you to find blacks there because it's considered a location where it's high class. You cannot find someone black. It still exists up to today. Even here in Malawi, yeah?
Yes.
Which locations are considered high class? Yeah? It's very rare to find black people. Only most of them very rare.
They
but most of them, even in the schools, if you go to say, they are in high international schools, but most of the children who go to those schools behind there are not very few blacks. Even if you had the capacity to send your child, but most of them will not send this at that time. Why is it that case? You see what we're talking about? We're talking about gender and development. Now you can see the reality on the ground. That's why I'm bringing about an idea, I'm trying to ask you, yes, you're talking about colonialism. Is it, what is it? Has it ended or is it there? Are we still practicing it? What are the impacts of it? So you can see it's affecting both of us in one way or the other. So they're saying gender involvement departs from women in development. Gender involvement departs from women in development, which discuss women's subordination and lack of inclusion in discussions of international development without examining border systems of gender relations. So that's what women's involvement talked about mostly. We talked about women's subordination and lack of inclusion of women in discussions of international development. Just like women in development was trying to fight for the rights of women who should be included. So they're saying gender involvement departs from women in development. It departs from the ideology of women in development. How does it show? They're saying it's influenced by this way. Though it departs from the work of gender women in development, but it is influenced by the work of women in development. By the late 1970s, some practitioners working in the development field questioned focusing on women in isolation. So gender development challenged the women in development focus on women as an important study group and take resources for development. So it challenged the women and development, the women in development ideology. So gender development marks a shift in thinking about the need to understand how women and men are socially constructed and how these constructions are powerfully reinforced by the social activities that both define and are defined by them. When we're talking about them, that means these two genders, the men and the women. So gender and development focus primarily on the gender division of labor and gender and the relation of power embedded in institutions. Consequently, two major frameworks, gender roles and social relations analysis. So gender and development mainly focuses on two frameworks, gender roles and social reconstruction of social relations analysis. It focuses on gender roles but also social relations analysis. So gender roles focuses on the social construction of identities within the household. It also reviews the expectation for maleness and femaleness in their relative access to resources. So social relations analysis exposes the social dimensions of hierarchical power, relations, and embedded in social institutions, as well as determining the influence on the relative position of men and women. So I think gender and development focuses on two areas. It focuses on gender roles, one, that's their framework, it has two frameworks. Gender roles, but also social relations analysis. So when we're talking about gender roles, what do we mean? We're talking about the masculine and the female gender roles. One of the social relations analysis, we're talking about it exposes the social dimensions of hierarchical power. When we're talking about hierarchical power, what do you mean? Hierarchical power.
Is it positions?
Positions, is it top down or bottom up? Each and every institution has a hierarchy of power. Like here at University of Europe, who is the one who's at the very top? The university. The very top one is the president. What? President. Then after that one, who comes next? We have Kama registrar, Kama D, what, and Omalizia. We have students. It depends on structure and labor. Others, they have a structure which is not okay? Means Bangladesh have a position, and position. That means these people are on the same level. They will put something by now, outside now. While another hierarchy even when they're straight, you have the president, you have the vice, you never let us straight, it goes down. So that's the way to how is your hierarchy of power. So that's what we're talking about the social relations analysis. So unlike women involvement, gender involvement approach is concerned specifically with women. With the way in which society assigns roles, responsibilities, expectations to both women and men. So, gender involvement is concerned specifically with women, but with the way in which society assigns roles and responsibilities and expectations to both men and women. So, gender involvement implies gender analysis. What did you say is the meaning of gender analysis? When we are looking at terms and concepts, gender terms and concepts, what is gender analysis?
Analyzing the things in the community that are affected.
That's what we say. Remember, I said, you should think when you see a president. Are you thinking again? You're telling us facts. You're telling us facts. If something is new, this is a president, that means you can say, I think, okay? But with this, we learned the other first half of the sentence. By now, it should be part and parcel of you. No more, I think, you know. We should talk with confidence. Generalizing is not. Because you have learned. Now, in generalizing, this is a new term to us. When you feel the student, we're not yet familiarize ourselves with the term. That's why you see video. It's very important for us to look at this term. And remember, I even emphasize putting. You should get familiarized with these terms because we are going to find them. We're going to be using them again and again. In this time around, we're mentioning them. I assume all of us will use the meaning. Despite which we don't know it. Because we didn't take time to study it and find its real meaning. No assumption. Because these terms, remember, it's very easy for us to mix them up. They sound similar when you study them. They are not as similar as we assumed at the beginning. So they're saying gender involvement applies gender analysis to uncover the ways in which women and men work together, presenting results in neutral terms of economy and efficiency. So, in an attempt to create gender equality, generating women having the same opportunities as men, including the ability to participate in the public sphere, gender involvement policies aim to redefine traditional gender roles and expectations. So it's there to redefine the gender roles. What do you mean when we say we are redefining something? What does it mean?
Making something that's really
Making something? When you say making, what do you mean?
like bettering them. Like let's say there was the rule women should be respecting. So it's just like making better way of respecting the
Just making improvements on the already existing theories. When you redefine it, for example, there are others whom they have a question whereby we are redefining